This is Abdul Saad, clinical psychologist at Vital Mind Psychology here in Sydney, Australia. And today I'm going to be discussing the topic of the core emotion that makes the empath vulnerable to the narcissist. Shout out to all the subscribers, to all the viewers. Thank you very much for your continued support. And I hope that this video, in addition to the other videos I have uploaded, will be of value and will further your understanding of the topic under examination. By the way, I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that 2017 is off to a good start. Some momentous changes in our world on the political scene, especially for those of our friends in the United States. Wishing you all the best. So to the topic, the core emotion that makes empaths vulnerable to narcissists. Now, as we stated in our last video, where I spoke about the 5 core beliefs or 5 destructive fantasies that makes empaths vulnerable to narcissists, an empath is an individual that has a deep, innate capacity to take on other people's feelings, to put themselves in other people's shoes, to a strong capacity to give to other people, to be able to, I guess, feel more grounded when they have the capacity to give, to be of service to others. And we know that empaths, for example, are found in high numbers in the helping professions, in nursing, in social work, in psychology. And there is a lot of literature, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of videos and articles out there on the relationship between empaths and narcissists and some of the factors that make empaths more vulnerable to narcissists. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on something that may be a little controversial, but I think it's an important topic. I think it's important to underscore and point out some of the perhaps unconscious factors that might be making empaths vulnerable to the narcissist. Now, of course, I'm speaking in general. This is not going to apply to every single person out there, but I think the trend I'm going to be addressing, or the information I'm going to be giving, is probably going to be applicable to a whole bunch of people who will end up watching this video. So, what is the core emotion that makes the empath vulnerable to the narcissist? That core emotion is pride. P-R-I-D-E, pride. Now, pride has a negative connotation, especially in the Judeo-Christian world, in the Islamic world, in the 3 major monotheistic religions. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. And in the context in which I'm talking about pride, pride refers to a form of self-deception, an exaggerated sense of one's self-importance relating to their capacity, in the case of the empath, to uplift, to make others happy, to take away their pain, and even to transform them. In the most extreme case, in the case of a narcissist, the pride that the empath is going to be has in order for them to believe that they are going to be able to transform a narcissist from a self-absorbed, arrogant, destructive individual into a genuinely loving and caring person. And I think for many empaths, if they take time to self-reflect, this is one of the beliefs that they have deep down, that their capacity to love, their capacity to give, will be able to transform the narcissist. And I refer to this as pride, as a form of self-deception, an exaggerated sense of self-importance that is highly destructive if the empath is not aware of it. And it's destructive because it's a major blind spot, and it will suck the empath into the orbit of the narcissist, and the empath's pride will act as a major blind spot, and they will keep on giving of themselves, of their resources, physically, emotionally, spiritually, fueled by this sense of pride, this form of self-deception, and exaggerated sense of self-importance that somehow they're going to be able to make it right. Now, it's important to underline here that the underside of the sort of pride I'm talking about, so I've defined pride in a very narrow sense here. I don't mean pride in the definition of, well, I'm proud of what I achieved. You know, I'm proud of my test score, or, you know, I have a sense of accomplishment. I've defined it very specifically as an exaggerated sense of self-importance in a very specific domain, which acts as a blind spot. Now, the underside of pride is actually shame, right? So pride can be thought of as a defense against shame. And I guess for the empath, one of the things we can say in general is for many empaths, there was an element of shame growing up, an element of not feeling good enough, or an element for being overly praised for their innate capacity to be empathic, for being rewarded for that feature or attribute of the empath being singled out by the parents, even by society at large. The highly empathic child, the parentified child. If you read Alice Miller's book, you know, The Drama of the Gifted Child, along that line of reasoning. So the pride that is a defense against shame, which is then directed to transform a person who is filled with destructive shame, the narcissist, will end in tears, as is so often the case with the empath-narcissist dynamic combination in relationship. Now, the antidote to pride, the antithesis of pride, is the virtue of humility. And this is a virtue which we all need to inculcate in our lives. So just as pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, one of the virtues is humility. And this is a virtue that is universally recognized as something being very worthwhile for human beings to cultivate, humility. Now, I'm not saying that the empath is someone that lacks humility in a universal sense. They're certainly not the arrogant, cavalier sort of person that the narcissist is. But in the sense of that I've defined pride, humility here is an acknowledgement of the empath's limitations, an acknowledgement that sometimes love does not conquer all, an acknowledgement of the boundaries of their capacity to change and transform. It also means for the empath an awareness of proper boundaries, because for many empaths, they can, without knowing, sometimes alienate people by having an inner deep sense of knowledge that they know what the other person wants, that they can give it to them. And if the person is not a narcissist and is not after the narcissistic supply, this can, we're sort of veering off topic here, but this can become a way that empaths destroy relationships, even with non-narcissists, if they're not aware, by overstepping boundaries, by being intrusive into other people's affairs. Now, for the narcissist, in the beginning stage of a relationship, that often is not an issue, because the narcissist is sucking up the narcissistic supply that the empath gives. And one important point here to outline or to underline for empaths is one of the things narcissists will often do in relationships, especially early on, which traps the empath and triggers their pride, triggers this exaggerated sense of self-importance that they can transform, they can heal, is narcissists will often be very good at telling sob stories, telling sad stories about their childhood, about how they were, poorly treated. And often in hindsight, the empath becomes aware that this was an attempt to, get the empath on board, to really play the card of the victimized person. Of course, once you've invested months and years in a relationship, often the toll it can take on the empath is very, very high, as we can see. So I didn't want to make this video too long. This video is more about food for thought. Like I said, this is my clinical opinion. This isn't something that has come out of textbooks. This isn't something that I was necessarily taught at university, but from my clinical experience, this seems to be a common denominator with a lot of empaths, especially those who have got into trouble in their lives with narcissists. So it's important to take what I've said into context. It may not apply to you entirely. It may apply to you very much. It may fall somewhere in between. As I said, food for thought. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your continued support of the channel. Thank you to those who have emailed with their support and asking questions. Please feel free to comment, and please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. And I've also been made aware that when you hit subscribe, to hit the bell button as well, so that way when I upload a video, you will know right away. Take care, look after yourselves. I hope all is well, and I look forward to uploading some further videos very soon. In the next series of videos, the focus is going to be more on lifestyle factors. I'll be talking about some physical health factors as they relate to mental health, and I'm open to coming back to the topic of narcissism in future videos. So, I'll keep that in mind as well. Take care. God bless. All the best.